Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Healed and Unfiltered with your host, Paola. I'm finally getting my voice back. So I kept postponing the episode, but the truth is, my voice is not going to get much better because I work talking all day. So we'll get right into it. This one was God sent, honestly, something that's been a big subject in social media in modern day. And I don't know if anyone else is talking about it, but I know that I want to talk about it because so often I hear women talking about empowerment. There's so many women empowerment books and podcasts and events, but where do we draw the line between empowered and healed? Because you could be empowered and not be healed. And somewhere along the way, women were taught that needing nobody was strength, that softness was weakness, and that when you submit to a man, especially, is oppression. But what if some of the things that we called freedom slowly disconnected us from the very thing that God designed us to be? Feminism gave women a voice, and for years before I was even born, there are things that women fought for that mattered: protection, dignity, opportunities, voting, and so on. But somewhere along the way, I feel like empowerment stopped meaning value and started meaning independence from everything. And sometimes even God. Women today are told that depending on a man is not the way, that don't submit, don't soften, don't nurture too much, don't rest, don't need help, do everything by yourself. And then we wonder why women are going crazy. And so many women are carrying masculine pressure on feminine shoulders. Biblical womanhood, which is something that I'm learning now, it was never about being silent and in being inferior, because I hear that a lot. Oh, Christian women, they always have to do what their men say. No, it's about wisdom, discernment, and nurturing, but everything being strong under God. And you could look at the woman on Proverbs 31. You could look at why women were created in the first place in the book of Genesis. God created women as a helper, as a suitable helper, not as a less valuable. Some women became so focused on proving that they don't need a man that they stop letting themselves be loved. And now they have to be okay with the reality that either they're single or they're in a situation that maybe they don't want to be in. This generation has taught women to survive, but not always how to receive love safely. And I see that a lot of women are hyper independent. And I have nothing against a hardworking woman. But being a woman that's emotionally guarded, overworked, anxious, and secretly tired all the time on the go, all the time on the go, they cannot be. Your hormones are going crazy. Some women don't struggle finding a partner because there are no good men left. Some women struggle finding a partner because pain convinced them that every man is dangerous before they even speak. And when trauma becomes your worldview, you stop discerning men individually and you start punishing all men the same. You start generalizing all men are the same. And I know this conversation can be sensitive because there are women that have been deeply hurt, abused, abandoned, manipulated. I myself am someone that has been abused by men, manipulated, hurt, and used at some point. So I'm not dismissing that pain at all. But healing cannot happen if your bitterness becomes your identity, because eventually the pain stops protecting you and it starts isolating you. And you can miss out on a great partner, a great life partner. Modern feminism lately, is teaching women that needing a man is weak. I see humanity and I'm like, 500 years from now, what is the world going to be? I don't even know. Many women are walking around in survival mode, wearing hyper independence as if it was a shield. And one thing that not a lot of people are talking about enough is how some women become so consumed with hating men that they begin projecting that onto every single man they meet. A man could genuinely be interested in you and come with good intentions, consistency, leadership, patience, spiritual health, emotional maturity, and still be treated like he's guilty because of all the other things other men did to you. And that's what unhealed pain looks like. It can distort your discernment from judging righteously, from judging, not judging, but knowing, is this man healthy? Is this man not? Because you should be asking yourself, not automatically pointing the finger at them. Some women enter relationships like that. They're already assuming how long until he cheats? How long until he hurts me? But if fear becomes the lens that you're looking at this man through, then you stop seeing clearly. You're premeditating what you're going to say before they even speak to you. There are absolutely men who are not safe. Let me say, there are a lot of men that are not mature and they are not ready for partnership. And women should never ignore the red flags just so that they have a relationship. I don't agree with that. I don't think that you should sabotage your peace and your well-being because you are afraid of being single. As I mentioned in my episode before, at some point I didn't want to be lonely and I will pick up just anything. But there are also good men. There are also men trying to lead, provide, and protect and pursue you with genuine intentions. That's as if I said all women are bad. And then majority of you will say, well, no, not me. Well, the same thing with men. And some women reject healthy masculinity because they've only experienced toxic ones. But you cannot say you want a masculine man while you're constantly punishing the masculine energy. Some women say they want a leader, but the moment the men starts to lead, they call it controlling. They want provision, but then they resent the idea of allowing a man to carry that responsibility. When a woman heals, like truly, truly heals, she no longer needs to dominate every room to feel safe in. She no longer needs to assume that every man is the enemy and be on attack mode. Healing allows your discernment, and then your discernment is going to help you recognize who is healthy and who is not. Not every woman that says she's empowered is actually healed. And sometimes the hardest thing for a wounded woman to do is receive healthy love. Because when I was unhealed, I didn't know what healthy love was. Everything seemed weird to me. Everything. One thing that modern conversations have is convince women that women only suffer under pressure. And yes, some women carry heavy responsibility. Some women are alone. Some women are nurturing children, caring for homes, carrying emotional weight and mental exhaustion and trying to hold everything together. But somewhere along the way, society stopped acknowledging that men carry burdens too. And that's what I want to highlight on. Men are expected to provide, protect, lead, stay emotionally stable, solve problems, carry pressure, and be silent and still somehow never break down. And unlike women, many men are raised taught that expressing emotions make them weak. Oh, that's gay. So now you have men carrying silent depression, stress, fear, financial pressure, emotional stress, loneliness, while pretending that everything is okay. You know why? Because society told them that a real man don't cry. And then on top of that, men are constantly mocked, criticized, and emasculated and treated that like they're never enough. Women say men don't express their emotions, but many men they were never given a safe space so that they could express their emotion. They were programmed to suppress everything. And sometimes it's the mom. Don't let that go over your heads. I know I have a lot of moms listening with boys. Sometimes women unintentionally add to that pressure by constantly belittling the men online, speaking about men with resentment, or making masculinity seem like it's a problem instead of a gift. A lot of men are emotionally starving in silence, not because they don't feel, but because they learn that no one cares or no one cares enough to understand. And I think healing also means learning compassion for each other again, because men and women were never supposed to be in competition. Oh, let's see who suffers more. Let's see who carries more burden. Let's see who does it better. We were supposed to support one another. A healed woman can acknowledge the pain that women carry without dismissing the pain that men carry too. And a healed man can lead with strength while allowing himself to be emotionally honest before God. But the world keeps teaching men and women to resent each other. But believe me, God's partnership, the partnership that He created for us, is not about rivalry. And here's what I'll leave you with: God never asked women to become men in order to become more valuable. He already called women precious before the world called them empowered. I I will suggest, or I will encourage you to take it back to your first love. Take it back to God and see what He really intended for women and men to be. What He wanted when He created us, not as a lesser being, but as a suitable helper so that we could unite female and men in Christ alone. God bless you guys, and thank you for joining me one more time.